Hey everyone, this is Andy Edge. Welcome to my channel.
Time to rise, time to feel alive, time to shine, time to live your life, time to grow from your past mistakes and strive to be the best that you can be.
Hey everyone, how are you doing? So today I want to discuss 3 significant albums that are considered to be perfect to me. I mean, you know the deal. You buy a CD or you download it or you stream it, and even though you really like it, there's always like 1 or 2 songs on it which you don't particularly like that much. So you run the risk of skipping it or just not ending up liking it too much. So it is pretty rare to come across an album that is basically perfect and that you can listen to from start to finish, which is the case for me too, because I'm very picky. I have a very, diverse taste in music, as I said before, but still, I'm very, very picky, especially when it comes to some instruments and vocals in general. So basically, I consider these albums to be as close to perfect as possible. I know perfection doesn't exist, as you know, but this is as close as possible because I can just put these albums on whenever and listen to them from start to finish without feeling the urge or the need to skip or fast forward to any other track. So here we go. Number 1 is by a band called Still Remains, and their album is called The Serpent. The band is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm not quite sure if I pronounced that right, but but yeah, this is a metalcore band, and unfortunately they are not around anymore like they used to. I'm pretty sure they still play music together, but they unfortunately don't tour as much anymore, so that's a bummer. But this was actually their second album that came out on Roadrunner Records, and it's quite different to the first album, as in I'm not quite sure if the label was involved that much or if it was the band themselves, but they were trying to get a little bit more mainstream appeal, so they made it a little bit more melodic. And a lot of people weren't really into that kind of stuff, because usually when a metalcore band starts going soft, there's all this talk about sellout and all that kind of stuff. But the band actually had featured vocals, like very melodic vocals in the past. And what I really like about those vocals is that lead singer TJ and Mike Church, who's the backing vocalist, they actually sing together and do like these harmonies, which is really, really cool, and I really like that. And it also makes the band really unique. What also made the band unique was the fact that they use keyboards, which back then, when they came out, was a very uncommon thing in metalcore and was considered to be kind of like uncool. But I was really into that. A lot of fans didn't really like the album that much, but I really love it because to me it's perfect. It's got like a perfect combination of very cool melodies that stick in your head, diverse styles. There's some heavy songs, there's some soft songs, there's some really melodic songs, and the vocal work is just fantastic on that album. So yeah, to me it's like a 10 out of 10 for sure. The second album is by a band called Fare the Midland, which was from Dallas, Texas, and the album is called Fables of a Mayfly. What I tell you 3 times is true, which is kind of like a long title. But yeah, I actually saw this band as an opening band, and they opened up for a Japanese band called Deer and Grey. And I didn't know them before, but they just had a major push coming from Serj Tankian and from System of a Down, which who discovered them and took them under his wing basically, and gave him a huge push in popularity and all that kind of stuff, and really advertised for them. And when I saw them for the first time, it was really amazing, because I didn't know what to expect, and there were just these normal guys going on stage, and it was this progressive rock, like almost progressive metal thing, which was like really playful, and the stage performance was all crazy with like lead singer Daryl Sutter like spazzing out the entire time, like really entertaining, and it was amazing. The song structures were really really playful in a way, like it was fresh, it was new, I never had heard anything like that before, and the vocal work of Daryl Sutter is just amazing. It is very unique, and he really, is hitting the high notes, and he's also doing different styles like throat singing, for instance, which I consider to be like very, very cool at the time. And I still can pop this album in every single time, you know, every single day, and I love it just as much as I did on day one. Yeah, unfortunately the band is not around anymore because apparently there were internal differences within the band, which is too bad, but you know, there's nothing that you can do about it because that's gonna happen all the time. It happened to me in the past many times already, you know, which is why I'm solo these days. But the good thing is that as soon as you get a CD, you know, it is forever. It will be around forever even if the band is not around anymore. So yeah, I'm very happy about that, and I'll pop this sucker in any time of the day. And number 3 is a band that you should be familiar with, and it's basically one of the big reasons why I'm around today, you know, doing the music that I do, which has been a major influence. And you know, I'm talking of course about Linkin Park and their album Hybrid Theory, which also to me is like a perfect product, you know, it's like a perfect debut, and everything is like perfect on this album. Like there's nothing that I could complain about. I mean, I used to skip the interlude Cure for the Itch a lot in the past, but I discovered that you know, as I kept listening to it more and more, that there's some really cool things about it, and it also takes the tempo out of the album a little bit, and then it has this really cool, you know, ending which resembles Club to Death from the Matrix soundtrack back then, if you guys are familiar with it. So I really like that track too, and I remember discovering Linkin Park back then. I was really into punk rock, you know, and you know, all that style, you know, I had the red colored spiky hair and everything, so those are, you know, were like really wild times. And yeah, at one point I turned on the TV, and I think it was MTV or the German channel Viva, I can't remember exactly, but I saw the video of One Step Closer, and I saw these guys who just looked like punks, but they had like an edge to it, which like a hip-hop modern thing about them. But the music was so different, you know, it was like a combination. It was really aggressive, it was melodic, it was fresh, it was new, it was incredible to me, you know, and I was just like, look at these punk rockers, you know, like doing this amazing like crossover music. And basically back then was, you know, with the introduction of Limp Bizkit and other bands, as well as Linkin Park, who pushed it a little bit further, you know, we had the creation of new metal or crossover, you know. You had bands back then which basically tried out several music styles, you know, you had Public Enemy and Anthrax, you know, you had Aerosmith and Run DMC, you know, combining hip-hop and rock music, or, you know, harder rock music. But it wasn't until, you know, bands like Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park made it, you know, mainstream and popular, and you know, that really influenced me on a personal level a lot. So I'm really thankful for these guys. And you know, unfortunately, as you know, Chester is not among us anymore, so that is a shame. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Mike and the others are gonna come up with in the future. And you know, all that's left to say at this point in time is, you know, thank you very much, Chester, for all the things that you did, and your music will live on forever, as well as your voice. So there you have it. These are 3 albums that are considered to be absolutely perfect, and you know, in order to keep this video short, just like the other videos that I'm gonna do, I only named 3. I mean, there's more albums that I consider to be almost perfect or even perfect, but I'll just leave that for another video. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and in case you didn't know any of these albums, I highly recommend you check them out. All that's left to say is thank you very much, bye bye.